This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on 39 Dunedin News, a new $50 million research facility upsets animal lovers in the SPCA. We'll find out why. A local academic calls for a clean-up after an in-depth study reveals some harsh truths about commercial fishing. And conservationists from up and down the country gather in Dunedin to consider ways to future-proof their sector. Good evening, Dunedin. I'm Rebecca Dupree. A new $50 million animal research facility is being built by the University of Otago. It's raising the hackles of animal lovers and welfare advocates, including the SPCA. But the university is open to talking with opponents.
Attracting opposition. The University of Otago's unveiling plans for a new 5-storey $50 million animal testing facility. That's angering people and organisations opposed to vivisection. The university's Deputy Vice-Chancellor in charge of research has been hearing some of their concerns.
In fact, I've been in contact with some of those groups, and I think the best thing for us to do is to talk to them face to face, and so we're going to have some private discussions with those groups to understand what their concerns are.
He says the university conducts testing on animals to set ethical guidelines, which is one thing he'll be discussing with concerned parties.
To give them some reassurance that we are doing this to fulfil our responsibilities to act at the highest ethical standards in what we do. So there's an Animal Welfare Act that we need to meet the requirements of, and we currently meet those requirements.
Professor Blakey says the university is already operating at a higher ethical standard than the Animal Welfare Act requires. He says the $50 million building will better accommodate animals and research involved in existing programs.
This is about animals that we maintain and breed colonies of, largely rodents, rats and mice, that will be used, both for behavioural studies but also for medical studies, also as animals that our students can use for anatomical training and other parts of the teaching programs that we run.
Professor Blakey says the new building for animal research won't mean a ramping up of animal testing.
Not signalling that we are have plans for creating large new programs of research or large new programs of teaching as a result of building a new facility.
The university's yet to reveal exactly where the new building will be located and when construction is due to begin. Daryl Baser, 39 Dunedin News.
Otago Museum staff are celebrating accolades bestowed upon the institution in this year's New Zealand Museum Awards. The museum won 2 of the 4 categories it was a finalist in for the recent exhibition on local Maori women and its beautiful science gallery. The museum also won a special award for its newly developed planetarium. Other local finalists missed out on top honours during last night's awards ceremony in Auckland. The Dunedin Public Art Gallery and Toitu Otago Settlers Museum were also nominated. Commercial fishing needs to be cleaned up, according to a local professor, following the most comprehensive study of the sector to date. It's been revealed that actual catch is almost 3 times more than what's officially being reported, but that's come as no surprise to those who know the industry.
Getting a handle on an epic problem. This local researchers calling for action following stark revelations about New Zealand's commercial fishing industry.
If you reconstruct the New Zealand's fisheries catch from 1950 to 2012, it's roughly 2.7 times higher than was previously thought. So it's a big deal.
The study involved analysis by academics and industry experts throughout New Zealand and overseas. It makes for concerning reading.
It's absolutely routine for good fish to be dumped, particularly if it's the wrong size or perhaps not in the best condition. It just goes over the side.
Opposition parties are urging the government to clamp down on commercial fishing practices. Labor's also calling for an independent inquiry into illegal fish dumping. Professor Dawson says the findings come as no surprise.
It's something that we've known about for years and years and years, and what this report has done is it's really put numbers to it, and it's really formalised the nature of the problem.
He says the quota management system creates unfortunate incentives, making sense for fishermen to throw back all but the best fish.
And I'm hoping the kinds of change that will happen will address these fundamental incentive problems within the quota management system, so that we give fishermen more ownership of local areas, so that they have some incentive to conserve that resource.
He says it's easy to blame fishermen, but their behaviour is a result of the industry and how it's managed. Stakeholders are now looking to the government to see what, if any, changes will ensue. Rosie Mannins, 39, Dunedin News.
Police are seeking people with information about a recent fire at the flat where the band 660 formed. The blaze at 660 Castle Street occurred early on Saturday morning. An occupant was forced to jump from a second-storey window and has undergone hospital treatment for burns and other injuries. 2 other occupants received minor injuries. Police are calling for people in the area at the time to come forward. They're wanting to talk with motorists, cyclists and pedestrians who were in Castle and Cumberland streets between 6 and 7 a.m. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Conservation stakeholders from all over the country are gathering in Dunedin for a major conference. More than 150 delegates are attending the summit, being hosted by the Yellow-Eyed Penguin Trust, and they're hoping to make a big difference nationally.
Brainstorming for the environment. Dozens of conservationists from throughout New Zealand are collaborating as part of a national conference. It's being hosted by the locally based Yellow-Eyed Penguin Trust.
We're addressing sort of social and financial issues for conservation or community conservation groups compared to the State Department of Conservation.
The summit is a sequel to one held in 2013 and is aiming to address major challenges in the country's conservation management. Funding models are changing and delegates are looking at ways the sector can benefit from greater collaboration between organisations and communities.
There are so many issues in New Zealand and so many threatened species, so many really good projects that need resourcing, and one could argue that competition is a little bit of a problem, but then equally it needs to be addressed because there is so many different issues that should be covered by the government.
The 3-day conference involves keynote speeches from politicians, Māori leaders and Department of Conservation staff, as well as international experts. It's the largest event of its kind in New Zealand, comprising representatives from about 80 conservation groups and associated businesses.
Well, our goal is to bring these groups together to discuss these issues that are relevant to community-led conservation in today's environment and potentially seek collaborations or at least ways forward that will help each and every one of these conservation groups.
The number of associated organisations nationwide is increasing each year. These stakeholders are hoping to strengthen the work done by individual agencies for the common goal of environmental preservation. Rosie Mannins, 39, Dunedin News.
Still to come on 39 Dunedin News, is our Indian summer finally over? And we'll find out which community organisation is scrambling to meet its fundraising deadline.
Hi, this time of year we like to keep our customers warm and comfortable, and we sell a lot of moleskins and we've got them all on special. Check out these, Tussock Creek, 2 weights and they're a great price. We also sell Lee stretch moleskins, 5 different colours, short and regular. Great buying, moleskins, Alex Campbell Menswear, 3 stores.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Dog with Two Tails Cafe and Bar on Moray Place. Proud supporters of New Zealand Music Month, May 2016.
New Zealand Beeswax Limited are the quintessential beeswax, woodware and beekeeping suppliers. From the amateur beekeeper to the commercial operator, New Zealand Beeswax Limited has the quantity to meet your needs. For great prices, great service New Zealand-wide, contact New Zealand Beeswax Limited on 03 693 9189 or visit www.beeswax.co.nz.
It's on again. The Star Regent 24-hour book sale starts noon 10th of June. Don't miss out!
For professional, reliable and approachable service where your dream kitchen design can become an affordable reality, contact the team at Kitchens for Less. Call 455 9973 or visit us online.
I understand now how economics can affect global warming.
And I found out how grass growth in New Zealand affects Fashion Week in Milan.
I can even tell you how smartphone technology affects the survival of mountain gorillas.
Sorry.
Because at the Otago Business School, it's not just about the world of business, it's how business affects the world.
I'm Kim. Michaela.
David. And this is our place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
Pregnant? Need to talk? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pregnancy counselling services are here to help. It's free, it's confidential. Call us now on 0800 773 462.
We're at 25 Moray Place at Dog with Tails Cafe and Bar. So we take coffee very seriously. We do what's called contract roasting, so we're creating our own roasting profile and then doing our own blends. We're really focused on the craft of what we're doing. You know, we're going back, instead of going on mass-produced sort of cheap things, we're taking the time to really craft what we're making. Make it so anyone can come here and have a feed and be able to get something they're able to eat or that they want to eat as well. You're kind of getting a taste of cafes from all around the world when you come here.
Oamaru's Fire and Steam is a unique family event coinciding with the Steampunk New Zealand Festival. Fire and Steam is being held Friday the 3rd of June from 6:30pm till 9pm. The festival is to celebrate fire, steam, sound, light and music. Harbour Street will come alive. An annual event not to be missed.
Welcome back. Consumer confidence is sliding amid rising petrol prices and concerns about the accelerating housing market. The latest Consumer Confidence Index shows a 4.4 for this month and a predicted drop of 3 points going forward. The impact of lower interest rates on savings is also having an effect. But business analysts say New Zealand consumers are still in a good rhythm and the economy is generally buoyant. That's being helped by gains in house prices and strong employment growth. And on that note, let's take a look at today's financials. The NZX 50 has closed the day down 79 points. It's now 6,904. The ASX 200 is down 50 points. And to the exchange rates, the Kiwi dollar is up against the Australian. We're unchanged against the pound, down against the greenback, the yen and the euro. Dunedin has enjoyed an Indian summer of fairly spectacular proportions, with some unseasonally sticky days in April and May. However, that looks set to change, with severe gales being predicted over the next 24 hours. Hydrologist Dave Stewart of Rain Effects is here to tell us more. Good evening.
Good evening.
Do you come with good news or bad news?
Bad news.
Oh, okay. Well, it's good to get that out of the way first. How different, though, was this late summer to previous years?
Very different. I recall one equally as good probably about 20 years ago.
Wow.
But that's only because I remember this sort of useless information. Most people don't. But it was May, for a May like we've had, brilliant. And I know they're talking about the temperatures being so miles above average. We get some pretty cold stuff over the next few days. That'll pull that average down pretty quick. So we won't be that much over average by the end of the month. You've still got, what, another 12 or 13 days to go. There's some cold stuff coming over the weekend. It looks like a southerly direct from the pole. So whether it'll be snow or not, I don't know. It doesn't look
doesn't look it yet, but it may. The whole system is changing each time I look at it. During the day it's changed a little bit more, but at the moment it looks like a direct southerly right through Sunday and maybe Monday.
And we have enjoyed some fabulously quite still days, not much wind, which is kind of unusual for Dunedin, isn't it? Met Service says that we're in for some high winds.
Well, we've had some high winds. There'll be some high winds with the system coming through tomorrow and over the weekend, probably a south to southeasterly. We don't usually get snow with the southeasterly. They can get some inland, but we don't usually on the coast. But it could be quite windy in exposed places. And it will bring rain or showers with it. So we can look forward to a fairly wet weekend, probably from Saturday onwards right through to Monday. So it looks like the end of the golden weather. Not to say that we won't get some nice weather, but as everything cools down, then we can start looking at frosts and all that we have managed to avoid. Yes, it's fun, isn't it?
Winter is actually only about a week and a half away. What are we looking at for winter?
Well, NIWA tell us that we should have a warmer than usual winter, but there'll still be some really cold southerly outbreaks. So probably a bit like last year. And I know people said last year was a cold, really cold winter, and we had 7 lots of snow, I think it was. But in between the snow, the weather was actually warmer than average. So it didn't seem as cold last year, but you know, temperatures tell the story perhaps, but average temperatures do average out the warmer stuff.
NIWA are predicting that the El Nino pattern will turn to La Nina around June. What's your take on that?
Well, the El Nino has basically gone. It's been gone for about a month. But the weather seems to take a while to recognise that it's gone and adjust to back to normal. Switching to an El Nino, I mean, they can predict it. They quite often get it wrong, so it probably doesn't mean very much until we get through to summer, when we could have a lot more northeasterlies and again reasonably dry conditions, especially along the east coast.
Now the farmers are the ones who normally suffer when the temperatures are a little bit warmer. What do you think they should be doing in preparation for the coming winter?
Well, there's not a lot they can do now. They needed rain in March and April so they could get some decent growth in. If they haven't got it now, they're not going to get it. It's going to get cold. Usually from about south of about Palmerston, you don't normally get a lot of growth through winter. So even if we got a big deluge, there's a bit of warmth in the ground, but they're not going to get a lot of growth. Now all they have to do is conserve feed and feed out where they need to, and if they have to, they might have to buy some feed in.
Now NIWA uses modelling to make predictions. Are they good? Are they quite reasonable, reliable?
Well, we could toss a coin and probably get not a lot of dissimilar to what we had. They predicted a warm period right through from November through to, well, they did say April maybe. We've had it right through. We've had warm weather through to May, but from memory, the first month and the final month of last year and the first month of this year were pretty average, with a lot of rain and stuff, which doesn't normally happen with an El Nino. So we had an unusual El Nino, and as somebody said to me, none of them are ever the same, and they're not. And so a general bland, this is what might happen, or this is what will happen, is, well, NIWA fall over occasionally. And so, you know, it's anyone's guess.
Dave Stewart from Rain Effects, thank you so much for your good and your bad news.
You're welcome.
After the break on 39 Dunedin News, why our hospice needs $400,000, and we'll check out weather for the end of the working week.
Sir Bob Charles, New Zealand's greatest golfer and still going strong.
I'm sure that Sportsville was a contributing factor to my success, and I'll continue to use it.
Sir Bob Charles Sportsville, a product so good he puts his name to it.
Well, I believe Sportsville helps maintain your quality of life.
Now being used by active men and women globally to support strength and mobility.
It works for me.
Sir Bob Charles Sportsville in the new all-black pack. Call now for the Sportsville special, 0800 502 402.
25 Moray Place at Dog with Tails Cafe and Bar. So we take coffee very seriously. We do what's called contract roasting, so we're creating our own roasting profile and then doing our own blends. We're really focused on the craft of what we're doing. You know, we're going back, instead of going on mass-produced sort of cheap things, we're taking the time to really craft what we're making. Make it so anyone can come here and have a feed and be able to get something they're able to eat or that they want to eat as well. You're kind of getting a taste of cafes from all around the world when you come here.
Finding that your grass seed just won't grow? Ready Lawn has the perfect solution for all those lawn woes. Call Ready Lawn today on 486 1819.
Hi, this time of year we like to keep our customers warm and comfortable, and we sell a lot of moleskins and we've got them all on special. Check out these, Tussock Creep, 2 weights and they're a great price. We also sell Lee stretch moleskins, 5 different colours, short and regular. Great buying, moleskins, Alex Campbell Menswear, 3 stores.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Dog with Two Tails Cafe and Bar on Moray Place. Proud supporters of New Zealand Music Month, May 2016.
Are you within your legal rights to take one life in order to save another? Welcome to the ambiguities of law. Because whilst the law may be clear, there is still room for both yes and no.
What? No!
The decision will depend on logical thinking and the art of argument. And this is what we learn at New Zealand's first and world-renowned law faculty.
You can stop now.
I'm Latafale, and this is my place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
Oamaru's Fire and Steam is a unique family event coinciding with the Steampunk New Zealand Festival. Fire and Steam is being held Friday the 3rd of June from 6:30 p.m. till 9 p.m. The festival is to celebrate fire, steam, sound, light and music. Harbour Street will come alive. An annual event not to be missed.
Here's something else to look forward to sinking your teeth into every weekend with the Otago Daily Times, the Weekend Mix, your guide to what's hot in fashion, entertainment, food and more. New weekend magazine in your ODT. Pick up your copy this Saturday.
Welcome back. A Columba College pupil is one of just 2 New Zealand students heading to Bulgaria for a summer research school in July. Dunedin teenager Annabelle Ritchie has been selected for the camp by the Royal Society of New Zealand. She'll be studying in Bulgaria with a pupil from Upper Hutt College. They'll be learning from international specialists in the fields of mathematics and informatics. The government is funding 70% of their registration and travel costs. The Otago Community Hospice needs to raise around $400,000 by the end of the tax year in just 6 weeks' time. It's benefiting from a charity fashion show incorporating some of the world's most fabulous couture, and donations are also being sought through other means.
Simply stunning fashion for a most worthy cause. Darnell Collection curator Charlotte Smith has been putting the finishing touches on a model's outfit ahead of tonight's fundraising fashion show. She selected a range of clothes from the 1960s to the 1990s to display, taking many factors into account.
I chose things that either had a connection with New Zealand. I've got sort of a Scottish tartan, as you can see behind us, with Dunedin. I have a couple of New Zealand design dresses from the 60s and 70s. And then I brought a few pieces that I thought showcase glamour and, you know, empowering women and feeling great wearing something wonderful.
Smith's based in the United States and is in Dunedin along with some of her vintage garments, supporting the Otago Community Hospice during its Appeal and Awareness Week. She says all of the outfits are being revealed to Dunedin residents for the first time.
No, nothing that I'm bringing to this special parade has been seen before at all. And there are actually some dresses that I've never actually seen on a person before. I mean, many pieces in my collection are only for exhibitions, so they go on, you know, static, standard fiberglass mannequins. And then other pieces I allow people to wear.
She says before this show, there were some pieces she hadn't even unpacked. Lynn Chapman of the local hospice says demand for services has been growing fast over the past few years, so events like this help greatly.
This week we're hoping to raise about $60,000, but as you can be probably very aware that we have to raise $1.8 million for the whole year. We have a shortfall at the moment of $340,000, so we're working very hard in lots of different areas of fundraising to make sure that we don't finish the financial year with a shortfall.
Chapman says the pressure is on, particularly as more people are becoming aware of the hospice services. Charlotte Smith is hoping the show brings a smile to ticket holders' faces.
When you're not well, you're recovering, you certainly when you have sickness issues, feeling great is a very important part of recovery.
Collectors will be in town tomorrow for the hospice's annual street appeal. Daryl Baser, 39 Dunedin News.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on 39 Dunedin News. The University of Otago is building a new $50 million animal research facility to the dismay of vivisection opponents. A local professor is calling for big changes to the commercial fishing industry following a damning report on illegal dumping. And more than 150 conservationists are in Dunedin working out how to strengthen the sector going forward. And it's time now to find out what's going to be in Friday's Otago Daily Times, and Craig Page joins us. Good evening.
Good evening. Tomorrow night, of course, is a big night on the Otago sporting front with the Otago Sports People of the Year Awards. We're having a look at that, and it's really been an amazing year for Otago sports people. If you look at the calibre of some of the people in various categories, you look at the men's, we've got Ben Smith, one of the best rugby players in the world, Hamish Bond, Olympic rower, and Jossie Wells, who's been at the Winter Olympics as well. And then, of course, Susie Bates in the women's category. She's just recently been ranked the leading cricketer in women's cricket as well. So there's some amazing athletes on show tomorrow, so it's going to be a great night.
We are always well represented, aren't we?
We certainly are. There's some talented people there, and just showing really. And Highlanders, of course, they're a finalist in the teams event. So. The warm weather, everyone's been enjoying that, but it's causing problems for the SPCA. They've got a bit of a late kitten glut for themselves. Normally breeding season well and truly over, but they're still coming thick and fast, the kittens. Since April 1, they've had 134 kittens handed in, which is 40% more than what they normally get for this time of the year. So, looking for lots of homes for those, so good time to pop in and grab yourself another pet, I guess. And having a look at tomorrow's editorial, we're looking at the future of religion in churches in Dunedin and New Zealand. We had a story yesterday about Anglican Bishop Calvin Wright retiring next year. And he, interesting enough, said that maybe they need to look at whether they actually replace him as a full-time bishop or bring someone part-time in. They're having financial issues in the church. And it's kind of the trend across all churches at the moment. So, interesting to see where that's going. Worth a read.
Yes, indeed. That's in tomorrow's ODT. Thanks, Craig.
Thank you.
Time now for local weather.
This 39 Dunedin News weather update proudly brought to you in association with Silverhorn's Emu Oil.
And here is today's city view. It's taken of some flowers that are outside the railway station. And around the city at 3 o'clock today, a little bit cool. 11 degrees for the central city, 10 at the Gardens, 12 for the Taieri. To the situation, and a strong cool west to southwest airflow is still blowing over the country. Am I sounding like a broken record? A cold front is due tomorrow as well. To the forecast for the main towns in the lower south for tomorrow, rain with nor'westers easing in Gore, Invercargill and Te Anau. Strong nor'westers for Alexandra with brief rain there and a high of 13. And strong or gusty nor'westers with brief rain in Queenstown, Oamaru, Wanaka and Twizel, highs of around 13 or 14 degrees. Remaining fine in Dunedin tonight with a low of 5. Tomorrow, cloud increasing with some brief rain during the afternoon. Strong mild nor'westers easing later in the day, 13 degrees. And on Saturday, cloudy with rain and strong cold sou'westers developing, possibly near gale force at night with a high of 9. To the Otago Palafires tidal and fishing information, low tide tomorrow morning is at 9:15, and fishing conditions look good tomorrow morning and may yield the best results at around 11:15. That's the news. Good night.
This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.